What most people in such relationships don't realize is a narcissistic partner often feels the need to be fully in control of the relationship. This makes them want to influence your decisions, your time, your social life, practically everything to do with you. Hello there, this is Felix. I welcome you to my channel, Relationship Psychology. Thank you so much for the constant support you keep on showing to this channel. Like this video, share it, leave a comment, and if you haven't subscribed, I'm encouraging you this moment to subscribe to the channel to show more support. Thank you. A relationship with a narcissistic partner does not usually look unhealthy at the beginning stage of that relationship. It often starts with gradual intensity, growing excitement, and a very deep sense that you have met someone extraordinary, the person you might have always dreamt of meeting and having in a relationship. The challenge normally is not just in the behaviors themselves, but in how the pattern unfolds and repeats itself over time, and how it gradually affects your thinking, your emotions, your personal identity. Now, let's take a closer look at a detailed breakdown of what you can or should realistically expect in such a relationship. A relationship with a narcissistic partner at the beginning can feel almost too good to be true. You likely will receive intense attention, strong admiration, and supposedly unending affection. Such partners may communicate constantly and move the relationship forward too quickly, even to the point where you may no longer be surprised because you might have come to think they are a dream come true. They make you feel deeply seen, immensely valued, and entirely chosen. The reality is this is a phase. During this phase, in such a relationship, a strong emotional bond gets created between both of you very quickly. This happening is not always a conscious strategy. The nature of the narcissistic partner makes things turn out this way. However, this phase does not last much longer. Deeper into the relationship, as you both journey on, a lot of things may change. The tone of the initial high emotional bond you develop together likely will begin to change. The regularity of compliments, as the way at the beginning, will now at this stage become less frequent or gradually disappear. In place of all these healthy compliments, criticisms will steadily increase, in which may sometimes be subtle or strongly direct. At some point, the narcissistic partner may, without respect, compare you to others or harshly point out your flaws, making you feel worthless and unappreciated. In fact, this shift creates confusion. The feeling of confusion as a result may compel you to begin wanting to try harder to regain their approval, not actually realizing that the rules entirely have changed. The relationship clearly becomes less about connection with time and more about earning validation at this stage of the relationship with the narcissistic partner. At this point, still confused and shocked. You may begin questioning your own perception of reality because nothing you say will be accepted as truth of something having ever happened. The narcissistic partner would deny things they ever said or did. They comfortably and with no immediate regrets twist situations so that you would appear to be at fault. The denial strength of the narcissistic partner makes you often feel as though you are overreacting, even when something is clearly wrong. This attitude of the narcissistic partner is often called gaslighting. Over time, it practically weakens your confidence in your own judgment and makes you more dependent on their version of reality. What most people in such relationships don't realize is a narcissistic partner often feels the need to be fully in control of the relationship. This makes them want to influence your decisions, your time, your social life, practically everything to do with you. Your independence, as a result, may be sadly discouraged because you may, through their actions, be made to feel that you need their every full approval to be able to do anything and everything. You might want to do same in order to avoid conflict. In fact, for the narcissistic partner, being in control gives them a sense of security and superiority. To them, it reduces the likelihood of you challenging them or deciding to leave the relationship. One of the clearest patterns in a relationship with a narcissistic partner is how they respond to your emotions. Your feelings are usually dismissed, usually minimized, or sometimes completely ignored. Their conversations mostly tend to revolve around their personal needs and experiences. Your needs don't really matter to them immediately. Such partners mostly struggle to truly understand or validate your perspective of situations. The practical truth remains that empathy requires seeing beyond oneself. This is not the case for the narcissistic partner. For the narcissistic partner, your emotional needs are often secondary. This makes you feel unseen. It makes you feel emotionally alone. It actually makes you feel unfairly treated in the relationship. When you have a narcissist as your partner in such a relationship, problems usually drag. They hardly get resolved. In fact, they repeat over and over. Same arguments happen again and again. Narcissistic partners rarely take full responsibility. They will promise you something they did would not happen again and may try changing into a new version of themselves. But that mostly does not last long. They go back to their old self. Honestly, healthy relationships steadily grow through effective and healthy conflict resolution sessions. But in such a relationship where healthy conflict resolution is not usually practiced, the cycle continues because accountability is limited or completely avoided. Being in such a relationship is very captivating, so much so that even when you recognize that there are problems, Deciding to leave can feel extremely difficult. Thinking back and remembering how good things were at the beginning constantly makes you feel hopeful that things will improve. You tend to feel emotionally tied despite the pain you endure. This repeated pattern is often called the trauma bond. It is a very strong attachment formed through cycles of affection and withdrawal or conflict at some point in the relationship. Honestly, what you should expect is not just the painful behavior of the narcissistic partner, but the overall experience to do with the emotional highs, the emotional lows, the confusion, the self doubt, the growing focus on keeping the relationship stable, the gradual shift away from your own needs and identity. These really taste very unpleasant. The most important takeaway is intentional awareness. When you clearly see the pattern, you can make more informed decisions about your well being and the kind of relationship you truly want. This is healthy and helpful. My dear friend, I tell you this, take very good care of yourself and don't allow yourself to be dominated too much by the narcissistic partner because you equally deserve better. I wish you all the best.